this is Erica, the technology nerd who likes to film stuff, and I'm incredibly excited today. Why am I excited? Well, because it's almost September. So, what is so exciting about September? Why should I give a crap about that? Well, the iPhone is going to be released. No, actually, I'm not really a huge iPhone fan. No, Windows Phone 8 is going to be released, and I am a huge fan of Windows Phone. It is a really simple, easy-to-use operating system. I've been a huge fan of Windows platforms since Windows CE Pocket PCs, so I've been incredibly excited to see what their next step up is going to be. I know that Windows Phone 7 was kind of an interim between what they were actually going to be releasing. I kind of see Microsoft as sneaky little bastards because they've been on the outside looking in for a long time, seeing what Apple's been doing, seeing what Google's been doing, and now they are finally ready to release what they've got in all its glory. I am convinced it's actually going to be quite good. I think it's going to take a lot of the industry by shock, actually. Phones from the new Windows Phone 8 platform will now be supporting multi-core processors. Unity platforming is also going to be supported with Windows Phone 8. That's going to be amazing because games from, like, just say Xbox 360, popular games from the iPhone, and even popular games from Android, they all use this platform for developing games. It can now be easily ported to Windows Phone 8. So once it's released, there's going to be a huge range of games. It's going to be catching up in apps really quickly. So it is going to be set to be a very competitive phone for the market now. I think it will be not as buggy as Android, but more customizable than iPhone. I think that that is a good way of putting it. So seeing where Windows Phone 8 is headed in terms of development and gaming, who wouldn't be excited to see what Microsoft is going to bring in this near future? Sadly, Windows Phone 7 users won't be able to upgrade their operating system to Windows Phone 8 simply because their phones are single core and the new operating system is requiring the dual-core processors. They're also going to be having micro SD cards, and the whole file system is just going to be very different. So the people who have Windows Phone 7, such as with the Samsung Focus 2 or Nokia Lumia, are feeling kind of at the bottom, especially because Microsoft had said that they're going to be getting the new launcher screen with all the pretty tiles. I'll show you what that's going to look like in a second. So this is what the new launcher is going to look like, and Windows 7.5 will be upgraded to 7.8. And it really is just more screen real estate, and the right-hand side of the screen is no longer covered by that strange black bar that you have just on the regular Windows Phone 7 launcher. So people are feeling a little bit insulted by that, but I really want to talk about why it's not so bad. The people who are having Windows Phone 7, it is still a really wonderful platform. I'm going to go through the good points that you really should not be overlooking with this phone here, the Samsung Focus 2. First and foremost, I have to thank you so much, Samsung, for sending this unit out for me to look at for everybody. I can't tell you how grateful I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now to enlighten and console all of you that have a Windows Phone and are not feeling very great about it right now, or are still wondering if it's still relevant to the market. And yes, it is. It is still a wonderful phone. First and foremost, if you are going to be buying a phone, you should make sure that the phone that you have in front of you before you're about to buy it is definitely the one that you want. You have to know if you like what that phone does in the store, exactly what it is, as if it's never going to get any updates before taking it home. Never, 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 never purchase a phone because you think it's going to get an upgrade and it's going to be better. You have to like it for what it is at the moment, or you could very well screw yourself. So that brings me to the first point of why you should still feel great about the Windows 7.5 phone that you have, or if you're thinking about getting one, you should at least see what this baby does. Why did you buy this phone? Probably because you saw how zippy and fast it was. It has no lag time. It is incredibly stable. Also, the tiles are so innovative and so unique. It's really nice to be able to just turn on the phone and take a glance at what's happening on these tiles right then and there. There's no having to dig into an application menu. If I want to, I can pin that application right to the start. It's so simple to do. The social media hub in this phone is second to none. I haven't seen anything else out there like it. For a person who is really high on social media, like myself, I'm constantly talking to people, making emails, checking my Twitter. It consolidates everything into one place. So you can see here that I can see my profile, I can get to my notifications from Facebook, Twitter, Windows Live. If something's new and someone's trying to contact me, I can reply in this one place. I don't have to go searching for it. It doesn't take me a long time. I love that. Everything on this phone is so quick. If I want to see what other people are up to, I can easily do that as well. Like, this is my little sister's profile here. I can easily get to what she has been up to, what she's been saying on Facebook. I can spy on her pictures. I can look at our history of what I've said to her within this past week or later, which was a happy birthday message to her. I have all the essential popular applications that I could possibly need right now, and they all work fabulously. Netflix, for example, works really well. I have my YouTube apps that works really well. I also have Microsoft Office, Facebook, Twitter. Everything is on here already. So this is fantastic. Even though this is a single core phone, this specific phone, the Samsung Focus 2, has a 5 megapixel camera with a really decent sensor on it. For the price at AT&T right now on contract, $50, you can't beat that. To have a really fast, awesome, zippy phone, decent camera, it records in 720p. It can't be 1080p because it doesn't have that extra cord that it would be needing to do that. But still, this is a really awesome phone, and it's going to be updated to Windows 7.8. What you will definitely be getting with your Windows Phone 7.8 upgrade is arguably one of the most important features of the Windows Phone 8 operating system, which is the tile system that you see here. It now extends over the entire screen, so you have a greater screen real estate as opposed to 7.5, where there was that huge black bar that I was showing you before. There are now 3 tile sizes to really help you customize your phone to what really represents you. So you can see that there are small tiles, medium tiles, large tiles. For larger tiles, just say that you are somebody who really likes to text message. So you can change the relevance of this tile here. That was a small tile. I can push this arrow here and it makes it now large. So since I'm somebody who texts a lot, I can easily just turn on my phone and scroll up. You can see here. I can see a full text message rather than it being small as it was before. Or I can go ahead and change it to a medium tile so I can see, hey, I have text messages. It's a little bit more relevant. Or I can change it to a smaller size where it's out of the way if I'm not a huge texter and it doesn't bother me anymore. It's a small tile, out of the way, relevant, but it doesn't clog up some of the more important tiles. So you can see that the sizes are really going to be helpful, and they're going to have a lot of app integration for these as well. It's going to be so awesome. As far as features such as a 720p display, you can't change that. Or having an SD card slot, you can't change that either. Or having multi-cores, you really can't change that either. So you knew exactly what this phone was capable of when you bought it. Now, as far as the operating system, let's just equate Windows 8 to being an entirely different animal in that aspect. Windows 7.5 uses the Windows CE kernel, Pocket PC, Windows Mobile kernel is what this is based upon. Now Windows Phone 8 is going to be using the Windows NT kernel, which is, well, what Windows 8 is going to be using, and also the Windows tablets. They're trying to create universal coding between their different systems so that it will be easier to port an application from the Windows Phone onto the Windows tablet or from the Windows computer. So they're really just trying to create a universal system, and Windows Phone 7.5 is not a part of that. So that's something that you really have to understand, is it's an entirely new system altogether. But the important parts of Windows Phone 8, such as the user interface, will be there. Your Windows Phone 7.5 will still feel like a Windows Phone 8. You just won't have those extra capabilities that you need to have different hardware for anyway. Alright, so then for point number 2, I'm sure a lot of you are already like, oh, come on, Erica, just shut up already. I already really do like my Windows Phone. That's not the point. That's not why I'm upset. I am upset because I just got a brand new Windows Phone. I'm afraid now that I'm not going to get any more application support, and there's not going to be any more applications that are developed for my phone. Well, I've been really looking into that in the Windows Phone development community, and I don't really think that's the case. I do not see Windows Phone 7 applications being abandoned entirely altogether. I will tell you why. As of this current moment, it is important to note that in the Windows Phone marketplace, there are over 100,000 applications that have been developed pretty much at the sole encouragement of Microsoft, who has been trying to get all these developers to jump on board to support Windows Phone 7 so that they'll have all these applications in the market. Scratch that. All of a sudden, Windows Phone 8 comes out and Microsoft says, well, we don't really want you to use the old XNA framework anymore or Silverlight because, well, we are creating a whole new path. Microsoft is famous for having technology and then just throwing it out entirely. It's a little bit annoying, but it's something that is kind of to be expected. I'm really hoping that they found what they want with Windows Phone 8. So you have all these developers that were developing on that old framework, XNA framework, and they're like, okay, so what is going to happen now? Are we no longer allowed to develop in the XNA framework to create new applications? And so, well, pretty much that's what happened. Microsoft wants applications now to be created in native coding. So where do we really stand now? Are we at a standstill? Or will there be no more apps created for Windows Phone 7? Is it only going to be applications for Windows Phone 8? Well, here's what's really happening while looking at the forums and everything and what developers are saying is that all the applications that exist right now will work on Windows Phone 8, but all the applications that are created on Windows Phone 8 will not work for Windows Phone 7. That puts developers in a hard place, especially because Windows Phone 8 isn't released yet. It's not out in the public. It isn't something that's completely infiltrated the market yet. So they have their applications, 100,000 applications that people are still using and need support for. So there's one of three things that is really going to happen here. These developers can decide to abandon the applications and just start developing now entirely for Windows Phone 8. They can decide to port their applications so that they can further take it to Windows Phone 8 and develop it there. Or they can decide to use the old SDK for Windows Phone 7 and to continue managing and creating applications for Windows Phone 7, knowing that they'll be able to use it on Windows Phone 8. And I think that a lot of developers are actually going to be taking that route for some time until Windows Phone 8 is really in full swing. So these developers have put so much time and effort into creating these applications, it's a little bit insulting for themselves to not continue to develop and to continue fixing what it is that they started. So as far as that investment that they've made, I'm sure that they will continue supporting those apps. And if developers see that they don't need to create an application that has support for Windows 8 features, there's no reason why they shouldn't still develop on the Windows 7 platform so that it can be used on both phones and be able to be used for both markets. Now, of course, later on down in the future, several months from now, that's going to be thrown out altogether. I doubt Microsoft will even want to support it anymore. Or who knows, maybe Microsoft is just pulling people's legs here to really try to get people to start developing for the new system. But you see, there are so many applications. There's still a market that needs developers to create and to manage applications. So I don't think that they're going to be abandoned. That's not the proper way of looking at it. Ooh, I got an email. So I hope that settles your mind a little bit. Eventually, yes, it's going to be all about Windows Phone 8, and then it'll be all about Windows Phone 9, and so on and so forth, and then nobody will remember any of that anyway. So don't worry about being obsolete. Love your phone for what it is right now. It is an excellent phone, and just because Windows Phone 8 came out doesn't make it any less relevant or powerful just as it is on a single core. So thank you everybody for watching. This has been Erica, the technology nerd who likes to film stuff. And thank you so much, Samsung, for sending this unit out for me so that I can check it out for everyone. It really means the world. So please rate, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, which is @Iam_Erica. Also, you can follow me on Facebook. If you go to my main channel page, I have a link to it on there. And I will try my hardest to remember to add a Google Plus link down here in the bottom for you to check out. So have a wonderful evening, everybody, and good night. And continue to love your phones, and they will love you as well.